Hello Ronlings. I'm back out on a tent camp. I've been here before, but this is quite local, quite near me. This is kind of a last minute thing because I went out on the van last night. I only usually do one video a week, but I went out in the van last night. But you're not going to get that one till after this, I think. You're not going to get that before this one, that's for sure. So I went out on the van last night, and so I was kind of me done for the week. But I was a tent that I've been waiting for forever arrived, and I couldn't wait to get into it. So I've come out again. So I've done 2 nights. So as I said, I'm really excited about this one. This is one I've been looking forward to for a long time. So I'm going to try out something called it's from Decathlon. Don't know if you have that in other countries, but it's if not, it's just a giant, I say outdoors, not camping per se, an outdoor shop that does all sorts of outdoor stuff. And I'm going to try this one. Oh, I forgot to weigh it. I'll look it up later and see what it says, although I prefer to weigh it myself. But it's a Decathlon 4-class trekking MT900. Oh yes. What's happened is that many moons ago I started on oh, my left baby. Oh, I can't wait. I started many moons ago. I started doing the taking out the one-man tents, and then I got a bit fed up with that, the lack of space and various other things that I didn't like about them. So then I decided to start buying 2-man tents. So yes, when you get there, you got loads of space. That's why I did it. You got loads of space. You got the vestibules are just your own, because everything can go in the tent next to you. So that it doesn't matter how small the vestibules are, it's kind of big in the sense that you're not storing everything in it. It's right next to you. So that was good. Yeah, so loads of space, that was good. Bigger vestibules generally, and not storing stuff in it, that was good. But obviously a lot heavier, a lot more bulky to carry. Give me problems trying to carry other stuff, and I forget certain other stuff. So then I got fed up with that. So now I'm looking back to one-mans again, and I'm thinking, so is there something that I can buy that kind of tries to fit both bills a bit, you know, like, you know, can it be sort of a bit one-man? But I don't mean in size, but just there's a lot of things wrong with one-man's, a lot of things wrong with 2-man. Can I address those problems as much as possible? Obviously you can't address everything, but as much as possible with a one-man tent. Because I'd like to go back to small and light again, because this is woohoo. So I didn't have the money for another tent. I had to save up for it, but I thought, well, I'll start saving, put a little bit away every month. And as I'm doing that, I'll research it, because normally I get a tent. Normally if I want a tent, I go online and go, oh, that looks nice, oh, I'll have that one. And I'm done it in half an hour. But this time, because I was saving, I spent a long time looking at hundreds of tents, it feels like. Looking at the reviews, the weights, the size, any how-tos they got. Customer reviews, definitely important, although you do have to take some of it with a pinch of salt, because it's down to what you like, as opposed to the tent being bad. It's usually down to what they prefer, taste wise, because there's no perfect tent for everyone, because everyone's different. But you know, I researched it as much as I possibly could, and I think I found the ultimate tent, and I'm really excited to see it. There is a couple of issues straight away, because no tent's perfect, but I think other than that, I found a tent that's going to be awesome. So I'm not going to do a time lapse because you won't see nothing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the inner, it's an inner first and outer first. I know some people don't like that, but it doesn't bother me. I've never found any particular problem with that. But it's an inner first and outer first. I want to put the inner first and show you the things I like about it, which made me like it. And it's just slightly easier to show you without the fly sheet on. And then I'll put the fly sheet on and then show you that bit as well. Let's go. So stage one. Looks like a little race car. Yeah. Yeah. Is that one? So the glaringly obvious thing, the ground sheet, the fly sheet, sorry, is grey like this, and the inside is like a dark burgundy. On the picture it looked really bright red. I'm glad it isn't. So yeah, all my tents are green. This is grey. You couldn't get it in any other colour. So yeah, that's problem, not problem, but something I dislike, number one. But it was such a nice tent in every other respect, I kind of put up with that. So that's your first issue. But what I like about it so far is the vestibule. This is the vestibule. Boink. It's half ground sheet and half not ground sheet. Now in my things like my Bobcat, where it has a ground sheet in the vestibule, I always unhook one and fold one back anyway, because I'll put all my stuff I want to keep dry and mud free in one side, but I want to cook on the other because I spill water and spill food, and I didn't want that going on the ground sheet, so I pull that back anyway. And here this one has one already there. Dook. Brilliant. That's, for me personally, brilliant. That's what I want. So that's the first like. It's also a bathtub design. Now with vestibules, they tend to, I remember coming out of my tent quite a few mornings, and the stuff I put in the vestibule is slid out. It's slid out and its arse is sticking out of the tent in the morning, and so it's still got soaking wet. And also when rain hits the ground, it splashes. Even if it's on the grass and that, it splashes, and it can still splash up inside the vestibule. So this one has, it's a bit harder to see now, but it has a bathtub. You'll see when I put the outer tent on, there's a bathtub design that sticks it up like that, which is brilliant. It means everything you put in there stays in there, and doesn't slide out the bottom and doesn't get wet. So it's created like a little seal just for the vestibule. Brilliant. So that's the second thing I like. The next thing I like, this is probably just about my preferences than general preferences, but I like the fact that this door, I don't know how I'm going to show this, swing you around. This door, I'll tell you what, I'm going to bitch first. I hate toggles. Everything's got toggles, everything toggles up. You know, you roll it back and you've got to stick it in the toggle. You need both hands. Well, I need both hands. Maybe I'm just all but I need both hands to hold the loop and put the toggle through. When I get in at night, I'm kind of struggling to sort of, while I'm having a rant, the tent's open, all the bugs are going to get in. So I struggle to get in because I'm in and I'm probably holding myself up with one hand, and then with the other hand I'm trying to get the, and can I get the things undone with one hand? And sometimes I end up putting the toggle back through and doing it twice, and I'm like, oh man. And they kind of wind me up a bit. This one has no toggle, which probably, I don't know, there's other people hate that, but I love that, because what it does have is this little loopy-looperson here. So you just gather all that up and you just shove it in the loop. Bosh, done. Oh my gosh, that is like heaven. A slice of heaven right there. And then you don't even have to pull it out the loop, because you just zip it up and it just comes out the loop. You don't even have to physically pull it out. I just think that's amazing. This tent's really weird as well. It's like, I forgot what it's made of now. It's like almost rubbery. You know, if you can get rubbery, but you know, if you can get rubbery fabric, but it kind of has that kind of rubbery feeling to it. But so that's my simple. Oh, and the other thing was, it's not a massive big deal, but I do like to have that because it's quite a simple design. But it has color coded. So the gold one, this isn't like this at the other end. It's two at this end, and when it goes to the other end, it's just a single one. So it has to be round a certain way. And I've just noticed that says top, so I'm presuming that was just luck. That was that 50, because I could have had it around the other way. It's just luck that I actually had that up the right way, because I didn't notice that before. It actually says top, so you could bend it the opposite way. So this is up, coincidentally I just got it right. But yeah, so you've got the gold end into the gold tabs, which I didn't know if I was supposed to put the pegs in this tab here or the little things. I'm not sure which you're supposed to do. That brings me to the pegs actually, which are really odd. Does anyone know why they're like this? You've got the tiniest little hook at the bottom, which doesn't look like it would hold it very securely, and a little hole. There's a hole to put a bit of what's the word? There's a hole to put a bit of core through, you know, because I've seen some pegs core through. If so, why ain't they done it? And why has it got such a tiny little loop on it? They're really strong, they're square, and you can't bend them at all. They're really strong but relatively light, so they're good pegs. But why is it such a tiny little hook? Surely that will just come off. Don't know. Is it something to do with whacking them into the ice? Is it like a mountainy ice tent? Don't know. So staying on the theme, the thoughts of colour coded. Also the top here is colour coded too. The gold tab to the gold end and the black tab to the black end. And the fly sheet, I noticed, has another one of these clips here as well that goes on the end as well. So I'll show you, tell you now, because you won't be able to see it once it's on. So it keeps the fly sheet central as well. But that may not seem that important, but I've got a 4-class 2-man tent that has this ridge going across like that, and you can have this bar on the top, or you can have this bar underneath like this one, so that one crosses underneath this one. But you can have it on top as well, and there's no colour coding on the 4-class, so I never know what way up it should be. Should it be on the top or underneath? Because you can spin it, it's loose, so you can spin it around either way. So I never know what way up it should be, what's better, because it definitely changes the difference in the tension, because it being on the top is this much higher and underneath is that much lower. Definitely makes a difference in the tension, so I never know which way round to have that. So that's quite a nice little touch. Yeah, although it's not complicated to put it up, but these little things tell you what way they want you to do it, and there must be a reason for that. I don't understand what this is though. Why there's one of those on it. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I've looked at the fly sheet and I can't really see why you'd have a loop off the end of that. I don't know what you do with that. Right, so the fly sheet was a bit of a faff, because if you look at it from this angle, it kind of looks higher that side and that side, sort of. And I fiddle with it, and I can't work out how to stop it doing that. I fiddled with the tensions, and I took it all off and started again and did a bit of this, did that, and I can't work it out. You know, for some reason that other one, the bar going across the middle, does that, and I can't work out why. Or until I get in it, does it even matter? Don't know. But there it is in its glory. It's nice and high up, you can sit up in it, so that's a good thing that some one-mans don't have. Certainly my one-mans. In fact, even my Hydra 200 is a 2-man tent, and you can only sit up of it if you sat up one end. If you sat at the other end, because it tapers down, you can't sit up. So 2 people sitting up in it, it's almost not possible. So, you know, this one you can sit up in it, and because it's the same, you can sit up in it either way. You can sit round either way, it doesn't really matter. And obviously, because of the way doors opens, there's one way, pretty much one way you're going to sleep in it, I imagine. But yeah, I mean, it's grey. On the pictures, it's not as dark grey as that. It's much lighter, and the reds are really bright reds. So I'm glad it's not that colour, because the reds are much darker. And the grey is a lot darker. See what I mean? It doesn't sort of, it's not sort of going down the middle. And I played with the tensions and pulled it around. This back one doesn't put, you know, those tabs I was talking about earlier, well, the ground sheet goes into that tab. It clicks onto that tab. And I've played with the tensions, and if you look at the seam, it follows that bar exactly. But as soon as it starts coming up here, it goes off pieced. And I fiddled and fiddled with it. You know, I've changed all the tensions and that. But I like, and I'm a bit scared about. This is the vents. Now, what I hate about the vents is when they give you this little bit here, they're usually crappy material that's usually all bent and doesn't actually hold it up. There's something really solid that feels like metal. There's something in there that's like metal. So that, it's not going anywhere. And you stick that up there, that's not going anywhere. That's lovely. I love how solid that is. And come round here, you've got another one here at the top as well. Again, solid metal bar, which I imagine means be careful when you're rolling that up, because you could pierce your tent, probably. But look, even when you look inside there, there's a flap in the now where I'm showing this. So if the rain's coming in, it should still catch. And it's got quite an overhang, it still catch the rain blowing in. And if it blows in there, it'll knock that flap up. It's got like a design in it to almost close it up. If the rain's blowing in, it'll push that flap up, and the rain's much harder to get in. I mean these are designs. I mean, I'm a budget camper, so a lot of you people with your Hillebergs and your £500 million tents might be going, yeah, I know, but for me that's good. This tent, by the way, was £159, but I had a discount to take 20 off, which brought it to £139. But because my nearest decathlon is 17 kajillion miles away, I had to get it all. I chose to get it ordered. I'll stand back here, bunch of flies. I chose to get it ordered, which bumped it back up to 145. So you could either argue it cost me 145, or you could argue it cost me 139, because yeah, if you count the delivery or not. So you know, it's a budget tent. It's still not a, you know, it's expensive on my account, but it's by nowhere near the most expensive tent you can buy. So these features to me are from a perspective of somebody that buys cheap tents, and you know, that these are good features for me. I'll tell you something. Something else I really love. Is this door. You can roll it back, but it's this feature here. When you undo it, the other one's attached to it, and it pulls the bottom of the tent up, pulls the bottom of the door up. So when you undo it, it doesn't drag on the ground. How simple is that? I mean, you could probably do that yourself, but that is really cool, because as you're unzipping it, it folds it in half. It stops it dragging on a ground if it's up there now, if it's muddy, and you can still roll it back. And it's not a toggle either. You know, I hate toggles. It's not a toggle, it's a little clippy clipster. I've only got one hand, but you get it. It just plugs in, and you got a little like a seatbelt thing that you push to unplug it. So for me, I hate toggles, and they've completely got rid of toggles. I do love the fact that you do the door up and it doesn't drag on the ground. Okay, I can hear you all groaning. But to me, that is really cool. I've squeezed into a little gap here. I can't find a place to stand back. But, so there she blows. I'm going to zip her down again. The joy. Look at that. That's just... It's quite a simple little trick, but how cool is that? It means when you're zipping it up, but only if you've only got to roll up half the door size, you're not rolling it up for an hour, because it's already half folded in half as you unzipped it. But it also won't drag on the ground or flap about, or... It's genius. It has got guy ropes. It's got 3 guy ropes, but there is no wind. In fact, it's really close today. I'm kind of half... Yeah, summer's here. I'm kind of half expecting it to rain, because it don't look too pretty, and it's really close. There's no... It's like a really thick air atmosphere. but there's no wind, so and there's none expected, I don't think. So I'm not going to bother putting guy ropes up, plus I'll only trip over them anyway. So that's it. Anyway, that's that done. There she blows. There she is. Oh, a feature that I was saving, well, it didn't matter where I did it, on the first bit or the second bit, but I'm saving it. So when you're inside, I'll get in properly later and show you. You've got a massive pocket at the end there. Well, I say massive, for a one-man tent, big pocket in the end there. You've got, I'm going to get upside down, you've got a loft, beep beep beep, a loft thingy, which is pretty cool. But also you've got your hook. Now one of my tents, the hook is inside the loft thing. What's the point of that? Because if you've got storing stuff in there, you can't put. But anyway, so that's stupid. But what I like about this is you've got a tab here and a tab there, which I presume is to put a washing line in, so if your socks are all minging. But it's also got another one here to here, and it's got another one here to here. It's got all these tabs, and I think that is to hang lines up any size you want and then put them anywhere you want. I think that's what that's for. I might be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what that's for. I think that is to hang little washing lines up, because when it because when it's wet, I'm going to do up the door, and I'll tell you what, they zip up really easily. I don't have to use two hands. It's just goes around a really severe corner. Oh, that's just throwing that off. I'm going around a severe corner there, but I'm just going. God, the zips are so smooth. So I'm guessing those tabs, as I say, you've got six tabs, which I presume is to tie washing lines on. I don't know, because even if you can't technically dry them out, like you've got wet socks, you can't technically dry them out, and especially in the winter you can't technically dry them out, but at least you can hang them up and you're not sleeping with wet stuff. And I presume that's what that's for. I can't think of another reason for it. Certainly that's what I would use it for. So there you have it. There she is. And so far, cock a hoop. I'm Mr. Happy Pants. That's me. So the proof is in the pudding. You know, when you actually sleep in it and use it, we'll see, because it's very narrow. So we'll see how my sleeping pack and what that fits in. It's very narrow, but on the other hand, it's got that vestibule, which is a big vestibule as well. I'll show you when I get in there later. It is a big vestibule. So yeah, look around, see what you found. It's sound as a pound. It's a 360. I thought it was quite good. That was an introduction to the next segment, which is the 360. I'm going to give you today's 360. Anyone that's never seen this before, it's become a recent thing. I used to do it occasionally, and it became a thing. So I'd like to give you a look at the environment, and I'm going to spin you around and show you exactly everything I see, starting with my tent. So that's where I am, and off we go. Okay, so there you go, that's today's 360. Just so you can check out the environment that I'm seeing, so I can feel you're here with me. Something I don't think I've done for a while is give you an equipment check. I've done it for a long time actually. Obviously it's not something I do all the time, because quite often I don't have the money to change up the equipment all the time, but actually there's quite a few things I think that have changed I might have individually spoken about them as I bought them, but I haven't given you an overall. Obviously starting with the tent, MT900. It sounds like it looks and sounds like a sports car. Love it. So I've gone for all that anyway. So so my chair I always bring with me to sit on, because I like to sit outside. That's the whole point, pretty much. Is my Rock Cloud. I like this because of the square design. It's got a square bottom. Excuse me, sorry about that. Not very good camera. It's got a square bottom, and it's the most stable chair I've ever bought. A new addition. I don't know if I like it or not, but because I was going back to a one-man, I thought maybe a smaller table. I do normally bring quite a big table with me, because I like to not have to reach on the floor for everything when I'm sitting on the chair. So I bought this. It's £2.50. This little thing here. I won't show you because there's nothing to it. The legs here fold underneath, and it's just like a little tray. It's £2.50 from I can't remember, it's from B&M. Pretty sure it's B&M. So I can bring that inside the vestibule. I can bring the other tent inside some of the vestibules, not all of them, but I knew this one's a slightly smaller one, so I bought that. Potentially I can bring it inside the vestibule, and you can put stuff underneath it and on top, so more storage. So that's that. These are fairly new. I don't think I've even shown these before. I've gone through many different bottles over time. They were from a place called Millets. Don't know if you have that abroad, you know, in other countries, but it's just an outdoorsy shop. I can't remember the price of them. I've had them ages now, but I've gone through loads of bottles, experimenting, trying to get thin ones on 1 litre bottle, 2 1 litre bottles, but trying to get thin ones because the pockets in my rucksack are pretty rubbish. The bottle pockets are pretty rubbish. So that brings me to my rucksack. The rucksack is a Vango Sherpa 65, and these are the pockets for the bottles. So you see it's stretched across the front. There's no give in it. A tiny bit, no give in it. So you're pushing the bottle onto the inside of the material. So that is the equivalent of it being inside the bag. Yeah, the pockets are on the outside, but there's no give in them. So you're pushing the bottle into the inside to get it in that pocket, which is rubbish. What's the point of having it on the outside if there's no give in it and you've got to push them on the inside? Rubbish. So I can't afford another bag at the moment, so I'm just looking for thin bottles, but that are a litre, to try not to encroach on the inside of the bag. The bag itself, can't bother to show you that. It's nothing special. Well, you just see it there. It's just I'm not particularly happy with it, but I can't afford another one. It goes very narrow at the bottom, so as you're shoving stuff down, it's all going into a point, so which kind of gives you less space. You know, it's comfortable and you can put some weight in it, and it's, you know, it's good quality. But I've never really been fully happy with it since I bought it, especially the bottle. The whole point of me buying that was to go from my last one didn't have a bottle holder, and I went from the other one when I wanted to get rid of the other one, so I can get one with bottles holders on the outside, so it means I didn't have to carry them inside, saving more space. But these ones are rubbish. I didn't think to check. God, quite near a road. I didn't think to check, so I just thought, oh, pockets on the outside, brilliant. And when I got home, when I started using it, I thought, oh, yeah, there's hardly any stretch in them at all. So you're pretty much at least 80, probably 90%. It's still going on the inside of the bag because you're having to push the bag inside to get them in. Brilliant. So not really happy with it. It's you know, nothing special. It's a good bag in every other respect. It's all right. It's comfortable. But as soon as I've got the money, I'd like to get something else. So that leads me to inside here. I haven't pumped it up yet, but I've got my Rab Stratosphere 5.5. It's yeah, the the R rating is 5.5, so it's very warm. So now we're coming out of, so I haven't got another one. So that's another thing I need to buy, because I bought that because the other one died on me, and it was coming out for winter, so I needed a winter one, so I bought that, and I can't afford to get another one, so it's gonna have to come with me until I can afford to get another one. So that's that. I got a cheap pillow. My pillow, I haven't pumped it up yet, but the pillow is Sea to Summit Eros Premium Large. It's really lovely one. It doesn't have a strap to hold it onto the sleeping pad, so it kind of keeps sliding off. Bit annoying. Other than that, it's really comfortable. It has a felt top on it, and it's a really comfortable one. And I also bring this one with me and use it on and off. It's just a cheapy one, a couple of pound from a couple of pound shop, that just unrolls. It's not a blow up one, and sometimes I put that on top, sometimes I don't. It depends on the ground, the comfort, and what have you. And I've got a Rab 900 sleeping bag. Apologies for that, I wasn't thinking. Show you all my equipment, but it's still packed away. There's the pillow, the cheapy pillow. It's quite nice, quite velvety. As I say, sometimes I use it and sometimes I don't. There's the other pillow, the blow up one. Lovely felt material, feels nice. It's nice and comfortable. It's really comfortable. Sometimes it just feels too low, so I put the other one on top. Sometimes it doesn't. Don't know why that is. Sometimes I feel like I'm what, and sometimes I don't. So I bring the two pillows, and between the two, they're great. And there's the Rab 900 sleeping bag. All these expensive things. I never could dream of buying a Rab because they're really expensive. So it was when I split up with my wife. I sold, sorry, you're looking at my neck. Really terrible filmy person today. Yeah, I split up with my wife. We sold the house and I had a little bit of money for that, and then that's why I bought a couple of Rab jackets, and I bought that Rab 900, which I think actually is probably overkill because I think it's going to be too warm for that, but I can always sleep on top of it. And that's when I bought the Rab sleeping pad. I do like Rab. I've been buying them when I had the money. I was buying them, and I love them. They've never let me down. They've never given problems. I've got this Rab one. I can't be able to get out the other one, but I've got a much thicker Rab down jackets. This is a nice thin one, and if the temperature plummets tonight, because some nights it has really plummeted, I've got a thicker one, and I can either put it on top, over the top of this one, have a thin down and a thick down, which is why I never bring jumpers or hoodies or anything like that, because between these two, they're really good. So I can wear that, and if it gets cold, put the other one on top, and you're warm as toast. So super warm with two jackets on, and because this is nice and thin and that, it doesn't feel all or you can swap between, have one or the other. So that's all I ever bring with me until we get really hot summer. At the moment, as I say, it's been okay during the day, but the temperature just plummets, and suddenly it's freezing at the moment. So so that's my coats. That's everything really. I've got I'm not going to get it out because these are quite generic. It's a OEX. I've forgotten what it's called. It's an OEX one, and it's just that really. I did have, like, buying for China, really sort of like all these fancy ones that gave you loads of pots, loads of pans, and I really missed my kettle. One of them had a kettle, and I really missed my kettle. And I've been thinking many times of digging that out again, somehow bringing that with me. But I bought this one. I'm trying to look at it's called an OEX something. There we go, an OEX Kuju. I don't know what that means. An OEX Kuju, and it came with the burner, this pot, and then inside was, which I don't bring with me because they're used to two little red. I'll bring one in because sometimes the bottom of I saw the gas can in there, and sometimes it goes rusty, so I'll bring one in, but just so it doesn't touch the inside of the pot. But I don't actually use the bowls, but it came with 2 little red bowls as well. And as I say, it had a little burner, which isn't anything particularly special. You're looking at me here again. I've done it again, haven't I? So sorry. And from Temu, I also put you on the stand. On Temu, a little cup that goes. That's very small. It's bigger than that. There you go. That has a lid, which I don't tend to use. As in, I usually just rest it on the top, stop things flying into it when I'm leaving it. But I don't actually use the lid as a rule to actually cover it up, because there's no real need, unless, as I say, just leaving it to go and do something. And then the last but not least, I can think of, is my lighter, which is an electric one, and it extends, which I quite like, because you don't have to get so close, and it's just literally a electric which recharges, which is brilliant, because I always bring a power bank with me, which is I know I'm supposed to be showing you all my equipment, but I can't bother to get it out. It's dug right at the bottom of the bag, and I can't be bothered, so that's the only thing I can't show you. But yeah, it charges on that, so if it runs out while I'm out and about, I can charge it up. So it never runs out. It's waterproof. When it all closes up, it's completely waterproof. I've never tried it. You can supposedly submerge it underwater, so it never gets wet, never gets damp, never gets damaged, because it's all completely sealed. Even the charger's inside, so it's not like the charge point's exposed. It's all sealed up. So and it's done me proud. I've got one for the van and one for the tent. I bought one each. I liked it so much, and it works really well, and it lights perfectly. And it's like, matches can get wet, matches you can damage, but and other forms of lighting can fail, but these things are blooming marvellous. And that was from Temu, I think. Both of them were. Or was it? No, they weren't actually. They were from Amazon. I did look at them on Temu, but they were kind of roughly the same price on Amazon, so I just went with getting it sooner. So yeah, I bought one, used it a while, thought that's amazing, so I bought another one. And they work really well, better than any other form of lighting I've ever had. And that is, as they say, that. So the only thing I didn't show you was oh yeah, I didn't bring waterproofs today, and I just remembered as I was getting out of, I got a lift in today, because you can't drive the car anywhere near this bit of woods. There's a road, I know there's a road nearby, but you can't, it's a main road, it's like a main road, and there's no paths either side, or anywhere to pull up, so you can't stop, because everyone's going 70 miles an hour, so you just can't stop. I mean, you can, in the sense she pulls over, I leap out, and she drives off before anything else comes along, but you can't park anywhere, and you can't stop for any length of time. So I got a lift in today, and as I was getting out, I thought, I haven't got my waterproof, so I thought it was going to rain, and the only thing I could have to compensate is my brolly, my very bright blue brolly. So if it rains, that is what I have to keep myself dry. A brolly that at the last minute quickly grabbed and flew off. So that's everything. That's the lot. That's a lot of it. It's getting dark now, and I'm feeling a bit peckish. I might. Unusually, I bought Pepsis. I never bring Pepsis. I always have hot drinks, but now the weather's get cooler, a bit warmer rather. I try and sort of sneak in a Pepsi every so often. But when it gets dark and it gets cold, then I like to switch to hot drinks. It's 8 o'clock, so it's a bit late in terms of food. I mean, eating a bit late because I didn't realise the time. Tonight's dinner is chicken curry. And I've got some Uncle Ben's rice on the go. So it's literally just a boil in the bag rice that I boiled first. And then when it was done, I just tipped it in with a tin of curry. then just stirred it all together until the curry was hot as well. Nothing special. Well, it tastes nice, but nothing special to look at. Oh, it tastes nice. I didn't show you the vestibule from the inside. There you go. Excuse me, sorry. That's the... So it goes a lot narrower. This is the edge. It goes a lot narrower. It's really massive, that end, where it's got the ground sheet. It goes a lot narrower. I didn't realise how much narrower it goes. It's much bigger one end than the other. I thought it was roughly the same both sides, but no, it's much narrower. So yeah, you can see I've yeah, got a couple of bits in the end there. It goes right up there though. And I still haven't put anything right at the end, so you could put more stuff in there. But you know, it's not a biggie because you can't cook in here, I don't believe. Now looks, you know, look at me. There's me pot. I mean, my pot, my stove. Look at that. So I don't believe. Maybe if you come up this end in the middle here. Yeah, I can't be able to move all this stuff now, but I reckon maybe you can get away with it possibly. But it would be right up, you know, the steam would be directly on here. So I'm thinking that you can't cook in here. Or you know, you've got to keep the vestibule, I mean, the outer door open to do that. So that's disappointing, because if it's pouring down with rain. Admittedly though, my normal gas canister run out, and I've been using, you saw the massive one I got. I've been using those for my heater. So I wouldn't normally have one that high. That's very high, so I must admit that would have lowered it a bit with my normal gas canister. So I don't know. I don't think you can. I'm not sure if you can cook in here or not, because thinking about it, that gas canister is 3 times bigger than the ones I normally use. So yeah, that would lower it a bit. But yeah, I'm not sure about cooking. The jury's out on that one because of my mistake of bringing forgetting to buy a gas canister and having to bring one that I don't normally bring. So that's yet to be tested. Anyway, I've prattled on for ages. I've shown you just about everything I can on the tent, and the last thing to do is to have a night's sleep and see if it's a good one. So good night. Good morning. I'm just boiling the water for a brew. I've just woken up. So what can I say? The tent was. I'll tell you what I did like about the tent is that my pillow, despite the fact that I spent quite a large amount on my inflatable pillow, the Sea to Summit pillow, it doesn't have a strap on it to strap it to the thing, so it's always sliding off. I've trying to find various techniques to hold it on. The total lack of space in the tent has meant that it's kind of like, even though it's flipped, I put, just for storage, I put my coat above my head because there's about this much gap above your head. I mean, I could have pushed the tent right up there, but I didn't want my head on it, on the edge of the tent, so I just left like this much gap. And I put my coat down there just for storage, and during the night my pillow slipped off, but the coat kind of, so it was created a bit of a cushion, for want of a better word, to stop it sliding any further. And the sides of the tent being so small stopped it from going anywhere. So between the jacket and the shape of the tent, it stayed in place all night long. It sort of slid off a bit, but I thought, oh, that's all right actually. It stayed in place all night long. So it's the first time that I've actually used that pillow and then not had to keep sliding it back on. It's kind of nothing to do with anything really, I suppose. that did give me a night to sleep. It's very wet inside, not inside the inner, on the outer's really wet, but there's no wind at all here, so that's not unusual for any of my tents. That's quite normal to wake up and the inside of the tent is like minging. But because there's literally no wind, there's no breeze coming through to sort of keep a lid on that. Until we get to the really warm summer where there's less moisture in the air, yeah, that's normal. Couldn't test the rain. It never rained in the end, although I thought it was going to rain, so I couldn't test the tent in the rain. So but yeah, I'd say it was one of my more cramped tents. Not cramped implies that it's really too small, but it's wide enough. Yeah, there's a gap down the edge of the bed, so it's not like the bed completely fills it up. So so it's one of my narrower and smaller tents, but only the sleeping area, and the sleeping area don't really bother me. It's like, as I said last night, it's like the Bobcat. The Bobcat is really narrow, but I didn't care about that, except for that the inner and the outer were so close together that they were touching, and you end up wake up in the morning, your beds are wet and stuff like that. This one has kept a healthy gap between the inner and the outer, so even though you're touching the sides, because it's so narrow, it doesn't really matter. Kettle's boiled, so it doesn't really matter. So so none of that really mattered, and I don't mind cramped spaces. If you are claustrophobic, that's not a tent for you, because it is really. But I quite like that. I like the fact that it's more sort of cozy. I really do genuinely like that. A bit disappointed with the fact that I haven't been able to test it properly, but it looks like you wouldn't be able to boil a kettle in there or anything if it's raining, unless you had one of those ones that the gas bottle comes off a pipe, so you sit the burner pretty much on the ground and the gas pipe comes off a pipe, and the gas bottle comes off a pipe is over here somewhere. That would bring the burner really low. You'd probably get away with it then, but I couldn't really test it last night, because, as I say, my gas bottle is not the normal one I bring. It's a massive one. My one's much smaller than that, so that would bring it lower. So that, so that's something I want to test. Really, I don't really mind being next to the road, to be honest. Liar. I mean, rather it wasn't there, because it's when the traffic lulls, it's peaceful. But after about 9 o'clock, sort of hardly anything goes past. So when I hit that sort of 9 o'clock mark, it's I was sat here and it was just like, and as early as something like 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock again, the owls were out hooting. I thought, that's a bit early. I thought they didn't do it till like really late at night. But that's that. That's the camp over. I'm finished with coffee, pack up, and call the missus to go and pick me up. That's the camp done, which is a bit sad, because I never really want to leave. It was a lovely playing with my new toy. That was great. And I think my summary of that is it's not as good as I thought it would be, but it's easily my best one man, and I like it enough I will keep using it, because I really like it. I love the weight of it and the size and the lightness of it, and it is all doable. I can fit everything in there. I can. There is enough room for everything, and it is a doable tent, so yeah, I do love it, don't get me wrong. I think this is going to be my, especially stealth camping when you try and squeeze into tiny little spaces, I think it's going to be my the tent that I generally use now, especially with it being summer. In the winter you've got a lot more gear to store and stuff like that. Although having said that, I basically come packed for winter, and it all fitted in there all right. But yeah, there'll be less as the weather gets warmer. There'll be less, so that'll make life a bit easier. But yeah, it's definitely a buy that I'm really happy with, and I'm definitely going to keep using it. So despite the little niggles I've got with it, it's a success. Right, I'm going to finish this off and do the boring bit of the camp, which is packing up, and then and I'll say goodbye, and I'll see you next time. If you got this far, thanks very much, it's much appreciated, and I'll catch you in the next one.